The Titanic was a very large and famous ship. It was called unsinkable, which means people thought it could never sink. The ship set out on its first trip on April 10, 1912. It was going from Southampton, England, to New York City in the United States. The Titanic was the biggest and most beautiful ship in the world at that time. It had 4 big funnels and was over 82 feet long. Inside it was very fancy, with a grand staircase, elegant dining rooms, and comfortable cabins. Many rich and important people traveled on the Titanic, but there were also many people who were not rich, hoping for a new life in America. On the night of April 14, 1912, 4 days into its journey, the Titanic hit an iceberg in the cold waters of the North Atlantic Ocean. The iceberg caused a big tear in the side of the ship. Water started to rush in very fast, and the crew knew the ship was in trouble. The ship had lifeboats, but there were not enough for all the people on board. The crew tried to put women and children in the lifeboats first. It was a dark, cold night. People were scared. Some lifeboats left with only a few people because everyone was in a hurry. After a few hours, the Titanic broke into 2 pieces and began to sink. The front of the ship went down first, and then the back. Many people were still on the ship when it went under the water. Around 1,500 people lost their lives that night in the freezing ocean. The water was so cold that many people could not survive for long. About 700 people were saved by the ship, Carpathia, which came to help after receiving the Titanic's distress signals. The sinking of the Titanic was a great tragedy and shocked the whole world. After this, new rules were made for ships to carry enough lifeboats for everyone and to use radios at all times to call for help. Today, people remember the Titanic as a story of bravery, sadness, lessons learned. It shows that even the biggest and strongest things can be fragile, and that we must always be prepared for the unexpected. This is the most famous song associated with the Titanic, serving as the theme song for the 1997 movie Titanic, directed by James Cameron. It is a romantic and emotional ballad that became a global hit. The song talks about love, loss, and memories that continue to live on, much like the story of the Titanic. Nearer, my God, to thee. According to many stories and accounts from survivors, this hymn was played by the Titanic's band as the ship was sinking. The band played music to help calm passengers during the disaster, and Nearer, My God, to Thee is remembered as the last song they played. The Titanic, husband and wife's stoneman. This old folk song was recorded shortly after the Titanic disaster in 1924. It tells the story of the sinking, focusing on the bravery and sacrifice of those on board, including a husband who chooses to stay with his wife as the ship goes down. The great ship went down. A folk song that emerged shortly after the sinking. The great ship went down has been sung in various versions over the years. The song describes the event, highlighting the scale of the tragedy and the loss of life. When that great ship went down. When that great ship went down. by Woody Guthrie, the song by American folk singer. Woody Guthrie reflects on the disaster and its impact on people. Guthrie's version emphasizes the sadness of the event and serves as a reminder of the lives lost on that fateful night. The Wreck of the Titanic by Jamie Brockett. A more modern folk song that offers a creative and somewhat humorous take on the Titanic story. This song mixes historical facts with fictional elements, using a laid-back style.